self-motivated.
Welcome back to First Things First. I just got rejected.
Well, you insert yourself in the conversation.
I got to tell America. Chris was getting ready. He's like, I got to work out today. So he said, I'll work out with you. And application denied. That was harsh, Jenna. If I got
Oh no, I'm not Afrin anymore. Okay,
Jenna,
I don't work out with a lot of people. It takes a lot for me to work out.
You usually got to pay Jenna Wolf a lot of money to have her work out with you. She will Instagram your progress.
No, I adore this gentleman, and I was going to work out with him. He
evidently you were not. Good to see you, Chris Canty.
Good to see you, bro.
Chris Canty's back with us.
Super Bowl week.
It's officially upon us. Minnesota getting ready for a number of people flying into the Twin Cities. The Eagles got in yesterday. Pats coming in later today. Fans will be trickling in all week for that beautiful weather there in the Twin Cities. Good news for the Patriots. Rob Gronkowski practiced the last 2 days. Still remains in the concussion protocol. But the center of attention has been, will be, and is Tom Brady, looking for his 6th oversized ring, Chris Canty. He spoke about the importance of playing in the Super Bowl.
I've never taken anything like this for granted, and I think we're all very fortunate to be in this game. It's a lot of hard work to get here. It's exciting for us as players, coaches, for our families, for our friends. And, you know, what makes it great is when you go down there and you play great. So being a part of a couple of these losses, those are pretty tough to swallow. But I think you realize how much effort you have to put in to prepare. It's a very unique environment, unique game. And you have to be at your best. But in order to do that, you have to prepare as well as you possibly can.
So just how cold is it in Minneapolis as everyone starts trickling in, as I said, CC?
It's 3 degrees right now. 7:37 Central Time.
Like
37 seconds.
3.
Literally.
Just
literally
3.
3 degrees.
That's not even the wind chill.
Yeah.
All right, Chris Canty, would winning this Super Bowl be Tom Brady's most impressive accomplishment to date, given the team he's had and the season he's had?
I got to say it would be. I mean, being able to have 6 Super Bowl championships, I mean, you're tying the Pittsburgh Steelers franchise all time for the most wins in the big game. So absolutely, that's impressive. The fact that he's been there 8 times, I mean, you consider that. You consider the fact that he's 27-9 in the postseason. I always talk about competitive greatness, being at your best when your best is required. Tom Brady has never been a passenger on any team that he's been starting as a quarterback. He's never been a passenger on any of these teams. He's been a difference maker at the quarterback position. So when you consider those factors and you look at him in contrast to Nick Foles, who doesn't have 27 regular season career wins, I mean, you have to say that it's impressive. Being the oldest non-specialist to be able to start a Super Bowl, the longevity in what he's done, you have to say this is probably the most impressive feat. He's probably going to get another MVP in the trophy case, too, because he was first-team All-Pro the other 2 years that he was at, 2007, 2010.
MVP
he got the MVP. So, I mean, yeah, you have to say it is.
I have to disagree because this is the thing. Regardless of what happens in the Super Bowl, he's still the greatest ever. So how can it be the best thing when if he wins or loses, it doesn't change his resume? He's already got the most Super Bowls. He's already got the most appearances. Like, so it can't.
He's tied with Charles Haley, though. He's tied with Charles Haley for the most. Can't forget Charles Haley.
As a quarterback.
The most
as a quarterback. The most is a guy that was the key to
the most with one franchise.
Yeah.
The most as far as being the guy. All right? I think that we have a lot of respect for Charles Haley, fellow Hall of Famer, but him and Tom Brady, they're still not in the same breath.
Oh, agreed.
Okay? For what he had to do. So for me, the things he overcame last season they supersede even getting here. Because if he hadn't done what he did last year, we wouldn't be at this point. And we started last season with him getting a letter from the commissioner being suspended for the first 4 games. We ended it with the biggest comeback that we've seen in Super Bowl history, 28-3. But also Tom let us in and told us that his mom, that was the first time she was able to watch him all year. So to me, when you start with that type of emotion, with that type of pressure on him, the way he went through the playoffs, where he didn't play great, but he capped it off with a great 4th quarter and a tremendous overtime, like I don't see you getting beyond that, not unless he gets 7 or 8 Super Bowls. This one, it won't matter as much as number 5 did based on what the NFL said to him, what he went through, and what he was personally going through in his life.
So the reason that I do think, and again, this is picking amongst the great options, right? Any of these, you could say that the most impressive was way back in 04 when they won, what was it, like 21 consecutive games, and they were 14-2. There's a lot of really good options here. The reason that this, to me, would be so jaw-dropping, even more so than last year, is he's a year older than last year. He took a year more hits than last year. He didn't have 4 games off at the beginning of the season, which, while psychologically could have been difficult for him, physically, I think, actually played in his favor. Why are they 13-3? I shouldn't say exclusively, but he was there for all 16 of those games. Why did they get the Titans and then the Jags? Because they were the 1 seed, because they won that game.
Also because
against
Kansas City and because of Pittsburgh and what they did. They made his road a lot easier. It wasn't like there was a lot tougher road that was mapped out. Kansas City and Pittsburgh didn't do their part.
Correct, but at least against the Titans, the reason he played the Titans in round 2 instead of the Jags was because they were the 1 seed. Like they would have, if they're the 2 seed, they're playing the Jags.
This is probably his easiest route to the Super Bowl, facing Marcus Mariota and Blake Bortles.
Agreed.
So that's why I can't say it's as impressive as some of the other things that I've seen.
If he is, though, able to start his career with 3 Super Bowl championships in 4 years, including a back-to-back for the last 2, and then on the back end of his career, have 3 Super Bowl championships in 4 years, including, if he has, think about this, imagine the only quarterback to ever win back-to-back Super Bowls twice. It's Terry Bradshaw. They won 2, they didn't win 2, then they won 2. So he won back-to-backs within 6 years. To win back-to-back Super Bowls in 03-04, and then 2016-2017, season, it's beyond unprecedented, and to me it'd be the most impressive thing he or almost any football player's ever done.
Highly unlikely that we're ever going to see this again. Can we agree on that?
I think it's almost impossible.
Yeah, it's almost impossible. You're talking about Brady and Belichick making their 8th Super Bowl appearance. I guess that's the part, to me, that stands out the most, is the fact that he's been able to play at this high of a level this long in his career, and he's still having success. I mean, his 17th year as a starter, playing at an MVP-type level, I mean, that says a lot.
And it's not like he's had all the weapons awarded to him. I mean, he lost, Edelman right off the start of the season. Dante Hightower was out. They had all the messiness with Belichick and Robert Kraft. He didn't get off to a great start. The defense was terrible for most of the season. It hasn't been an easy. Yes, it was a little bit easier in the postseason because of who his competition was. But again, that came from being the 1 seed. But he's had his challenges as a 40-year-old going into it, so I think that in and of itself is very impressive.
Yeah, you're right, Jenna. He's been the one constant on this team the entire year as far as a player is concerned. I mean, the defense had their struggles. They gave up a lot of yards throughout the course of the regular season, but they've tightened it up in terms of scoring defense, playing in the red zone. You look at the offense, you've had guys in and out of the lineup, inconsistent play from some of the receiver positions, from the running back position, but yet Tom Brady finds a way to overcome all of it, and he plays a style of football that's complementary to everybody around him. He protects the offensive line because he gets the ball out of his hands. He protects his defense because he controls time of possession. So he is the definition of elevating the play of everybody around you, and that's what you love at the quarterback position.
The most impressive thing Tom Brady has done is his intensity for success. Keeping it at this age, that's the most impressive thing. Because when you're an accomplished person, to keep your goals high and every day to be driven, to be great, that's the most impressive thing that he's accomplished. It's not the big thing, it's the daily grind that he has adopted. So wrap.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. All right.
Yeah,
Go, greatest all time. That's it.
Chris, thanks so much for being with us. Coming up, Steph Curry, Kyrie had an epic battle this weekend, but who would you rather have moving forward? You had to pick one. Next, first things first.
I'll take the guy that dropped 49 on Saturday.
I think you are correct, sir.